Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 35 locations throughout southeast Louisiana and now in the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. The New Orleans Saints scratched. They have a win. They're 1-3 after an overtime victory, 26-20 over the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. A topsy-turvy affair. A lot of highs and a lot of lows, and it closed on a high. And Lenny, finally a free agent pickup that they paid, contributed and made a play. C.J. Spiller in overtime goes the distance.
Yeah, it was a play that Drew Brees talked about in post game. Was a play that they'd lined up at least in that formation a few times already during the game and watched how some things were getting played, and they got the matchup they wanted. Made one guy miss, broke out of a tackle, and it was nobody past him, and he is the fastest guy on that team in all likelihood, and just took it the distance. And look, after the way regulation ended, that is exactly what the Saints needed. They needed the big play, whether it was to take it all the way or at least to get him in position to be able to quickly respond back after the way regulation ended with the missed field goal.
Now, Drew Brees, 33 of 41, and he had 3 drops in the game, so he was accurate. He made good decisions. He didn't get vertical. Maybe that has to do with the injury. Maybe it has to do with receivers not being able to uncover. But either way, he was effective, and after they couldn't run the ball at all in the first half, they ran it well in the second half, rushed it 19 times, and that certainly contributed. Defensively, Lenny, was kind of a weird effort. They started off the game getting gashed in the running game, and then in between they were really good until the final Dallas drive, 91 yards for a touchdown where they got gashed in the secondary. So it's kind of a strange performance, a little bit uneven defensively, although you had to be pleased with the young players on this defense.
The young guys continue to step up. And look, you can't go out and buy experience. You have to actually play the game. And for so many of these defenders, this is their 4th NFL game. You had 3 rookies with sacks on Sunday night. Other guys stepping up and making plays in key situations, whether it's tackles behind the line, pass breakups, whatever it is. And I think they're just going to keep getting a little better and better. You mentioned it's a little start. It was like 59 yards rushing on the first 2 plays from scrimmage. And then after that, was a lot better against the run, and that's what they needed to be, because it's a lot of, for Dallas, I guess it's a lot of like what happened a week ago when they played the Falcons. They started out on the ground like gangbusters and then couldn't run the ball after that, and Atlanta came back and won the game.
Kudos to Keenan Lewis, who tried to play, obviously had to leave the game, but that tells you about his competitive spirit. Jarris Byrd and Donnell Ellerbe, we saw them. I'll leave it at that. And in terms of the kicking game, that seems to be the real concern moving forward. Thomas Morstead was injured. To what degree, we don't know. He couldn't punt or kick in the third and fourth quarters, as it turned out. Zach Hocker had to punt. Zach Hocker made a long field goal, and then Zach Hocker missed a short field goal. And he's already missed an extra point. And, of course, they botched another one when McCown dropped a snap in Carolina. So Sean Payton said after the game, it might be time to go for 2. That's an indictment.
Didn't seem like he was very excited about that whole situation. He mentioned 3 kicks this year. One's been a snap, one's been a hold, and one has been the kick. So the blame goes around a little bit, but he has a short leash when it comes to that. And look, kickers, while they don't have to blend into an offensive system, much like the trade for the tight end last week. He was inactive on Sunday because he hasn't had a chance to really adapt. I mean, you can go sign a kicker off the street on Saturday, and he's kicking for you on Sunday. It's not like he's got to learn a playbook. Just kick. Kick it preferably between those 2 yellow uprights, and all will be good in the world. But look, it's not just Zach Hocker. I think it's a league-wide thing, and I think it's got a lot to do with those extra points being moved back to the 15-yard line. It's not automatic, no-brainer, go out there and kick an extra point. Now you've got a little bit more stress on yourself for everything that it is you do. And look, Hocker's one of those guys. This is his 4th NFL game, okay? So it's not, but again, is the leash shorter with him because he is a kicker as opposed to other situations? We'll see, as they say. Tuesday's usually the day they start bringing guys in. They've got some guys sitting there on the short list. Of course, Dustin Hopkins, the guy who was competing with him in camp, is now in Washington, so that's not an option. Let's see what happens.
Well, it was a win for LSU, and I think maybe we should leave it at that, too, and just talk about Leonard Fournette again, because that was an ugly performance against a bad team. And there's really no excuse for that. Don't tell me about playing down to the level of your opponent or not being excited to play. When you have that much of a talent advantage on a team and you're at home, you should play better than that. It's that simple. Thank heavens for Leonard Fournette once again.
He was outstanding and continues to be outstanding. And, in all likelihood, he's got a chance to go over 1,000 yards this coming Saturday against South Carolina in his 5th game of the year. That's just crazy. But
do we really know how good this team is?
We don't. That's the thing. Look, Harris was mediocre at best.
Yes.
Okay. Defense, I'm concerned about the defense, in all honesty. While they've certainly got a tremendous amount of talent on that side of the football, the fact of the matter is they've allowed at least 19 points in every game this season. And while South Carolina is not going to necessarily provide the best test, Florida's a lot better than people thought coming into Tiger Stadium in 2 weeks. Obviously, you've still got Alabama, Ole Miss down the road. Texas A&M as well. Yeah, it's, there are going to be some tests for this team, and you're going to get in close games, and that defense is going to have to make stops.
Well, what you're looking for is improvement, and they've stagnated. They have not improved the last 2 weeks. I don't care who the opposition is. They've shown no level of improvement other than number 7, who's been absolutely phenomenal. So, again, an SEC test on the road, albeit this is a South Carolina team that's 0-3 in the SEC right now. As for Tulane, they got a much-needed win. We talked about it being a game they had to win against a Central Florida team that's not any good, and it didn't start well with a drop punt and being down 7-0, but Tulane was opportunistic, created opportunities with their defense, and their offense took advantage, and it was a solid win.
It was. Tanner Lee was very good, 4 touchdowns, no picks. 5 turnovers and 7 sacks from your defense. That is huge. And as you and I were talking off air, the play that the former West Jeff standout Perry Nickerson made in the second quarter of that game, when it's a 10-7 game, turned the whole game around. A great hustle play to go rip the ball out from a wide receiver who was running perhaps for a touchdown to give UCF the lead. Got in behind him, ripped out the ball. Richard Allen took it back the other way to the 50-yard line. Tulane scored on the next play, got another turnover right after that, scored again. You went from either being down 14-10 or possibly tied to up 24-7, and at that point it was basically game over.
No question. High school football, it was a great week on SportsNOLA.com and WHNO. An instant classic Friday night, Holy Cross over Jesuit in double overtime, 28-21 on WHNO and SportsNOLA. And then Saturday night, another instant classic, St. Augustine rallies in the final minute to beat Brother Martin, 47-44. You want to see good high school games? Right here at SportsNOLA.com. We got a good run going now, don't we?
We do. Look, our luck hasn't been the greatest on getting those close and late matchups, so to speak. Seen some great talent, but not always the closest games. But a terrific game Friday night, another terrific game Saturday night. Hopefully another great one this Friday night, another crosstown matchup, Covington and St. Paul's, as we head across the lake for the first time this year.
That really should be good. Devin Brumfield's terrific for Covington. St. Paul's is a very good team, and that's a rivalry. I think that will be an excellent game, and we look forward to that. Radio Thursday night, East Jefferson at Higgins on WGSO 990 AM. Radio Saturday, Shaw at St. Augustine at Tad Gormley at 2:30. So it's going to be a great high school week. Don't forget Sports NOLA TV Monday night, 6 p.m. on WHNO TV 20. We look forward to it. We always do.
Always. See you later this week. Huh?
You got it. That's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 35 locations all around Louisiana, into Florida, and stay tuned. They might be coming to your town soon. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend. God bless you.